All right. Now let's get the other side of the coin, if we could. I'm going to be talking about a movie I fucking hate this time around, and trying to explain why I hate it so fucking much. Plus, it's a double whammy because I felt betrayed by this goddamn movie. Because when I heard about it, I got so fucking excited to see the shit, and it was actually in production for quite some time. So like this whole time, I'm just, oh man, I can't wait to see this. It's gonna be awesome, right? And it was not awesome. What movie am I talking about? I'm gonna be talking about Leatherface. Leatherface is a prequel to the 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it sucks a lot of balls. As a matter of fact, in my personal opinion, there are certain things that happen in Leatherface that actually kind of ruin the 1974 Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And I just can't stand for that shit. But let's just talk about it, okay? Now, immediately in this movie, I immediately grasped that there was already going to be a red flag. Like, this is the first red flag that I should have, thought about in this movie. And it happens in the very first scene of this movie. Hear me out. I'm not trying to be nitpicky, but you have to understand this. So anyway, the film opens up with a young Leatherface's birthday. He's like 11 or 12 or some shit like that. And it's his family. There's a birthday cake, obviously. And here we go. Here's little Leatherface. And on the other side of the table is a random fucking dude that the family seems to not like very much, right? And he's tied to a chair. He's just there, right? And then they give the young Leatherface his birthday gift. You want to know what the gift was? A fucking chainsaw. There you have it. That's how he got his chainsaw, apparently. They gave it to him on his 11th fucking birthday. Anyway, so he opens up the chainsaw, and then they're like, kill this person, basically. In the most basic form of what's happening in this scene. Basically telling him, kill this motherfucker, right? Now here's the first red flag. Leatherface hesitates for a second, and then he decides he doesn't want to kill this dude, so he doesn't kill the dude. Why is that a red flag? Here's why. You should already know, by the way. But in case you don't know, Leatherface, especially in the 1974 original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is astonishingly mentally handicapped. Like, he's about as mentally handicapped as you could possibly be. And a lot of people don't realize this, but Leatherface himself is not inherently evil, even though he does horrible things. It's just he doesn't know any better. And if his family is telling him to do it, he just assumes it's the right thing to do. Therefore, the Leatherface in 1974 would never ever hesitate for one goddamn second or refuse to do the thing they asked him to do, because that's not how Leatherface is. That's not his character. He would do anything that they asked him to do without question, because he doesn't know better. So immediately it's like, what the fuck? This is some bullshit, right? And then this happens. Apparently this is the sheriff's daughter, right? And she shows up, I guess, for Child Protective Services. I can't really fucking remember, but it's dumb. She goes into this bar, right? Barn, that's what I meant to say. She goes into the barn, looking around. And then, out of nowhere, here comes young Leatherface, wearing some straight-up Huckleberry Finn Tom Sawyer fucking coveralls or jeans, the ones that are borderline capris, and he doesn't have shoes on, because they're hillbillies, duh, right? And he has a big, dumb, stupid fucking horse head on top of his head. And I can't remember if it's just a stupid mask or a literal hollowed-out dead horse head, which wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility, because later on I'm going to be telling you about a scene that is strictly in this movie to gross you out for absolute certain. Anyway, he comes out from a bale of hay, and then the sheriff's daughter lady, she proceeds to do what so many people do in horror films, where, they just back away very slow-like, without fucking their eyes, like, not leaving. They're just backing up slowly, looking at whatever the fuck it is that's terrifying them. As if it's like, I know what I could do. to elude my potential, doom, I'll just walk backwards very, very slowly, and he will never be able to get me. Right? So she's doing that. And then she steps into a good old-fashioned, cliche as fuck Vietnam War style booby trap. Very effective, very easy. I'm talking about the pit, like stakes and shit at the bottom, and they cover it with a bunch of fucking leaves and shit, and someone who walks into it and gets impaled. One of those. And that's exactly what happens. She falls in there, and she gets impaled, and then she's fucking dead. Right? So then, we fast forward a little while, because I guess they did, in fact, get fucking Leatherface away from his family. So we fast forward a few years, and now Leatherface is a teenager. And immediately, we see a character. Immediately. And if you're like me, which there's no way you can tell me this isn't exactly what you thought when you saw this, because it goes to the mental hospital, that's where they're at. And the very first person you see is somebody that you just immediately know in your heart is Leatherface. Like, wow, they did a fantastic job of casting a young Leatherface. This dude is remarkably similar in appearance and stuff like that, even though you never saw Leatherface's face. But like his mannerisms, the way he sits, his hair, his gargantuous size, and he's mentally challenged. Every single solitary asset of Leatherface is covered with this character here, right? There's a twist to this, by the way, right? Because at some point in this movie, I can't really recall when, you find out that that person that you saw, right, that you knew was Leatherface and thought was an impeccable casting of a young Leatherface, turns out is in fact not Leatherface. For no reason I can even really fathom. I don't know why they decided to do that. I guess just to fuck with people. Like, hey, let's put in this character that's totally Leatherface, but here's the twist. It's not Leatherface at all. Let's do that. And then, like, eventually in the movie, you find out that not only is the dude that should be Leatherface not Leatherface, but Leatherface is another dude. I think his name is Jackson or some shit. And not only is this dude not mentally challenged at all whatsoever, he possesses free will. He's, articulate and can speak, and he's not mentally challenged in any way whatsoever. Pretty much completely and utterly opposite of Leatherface. He's fucking short, he's scrawny, he's got blondish looking hair. Like, literally every single solitary detail is exactly what Leatherface is not. And he ends up being Leatherface. And that is fucking stupid. Anyway, let's continue. So here's the basic plot of this movie. I should have said this at the beginning, but now that you know the sheriff's daughter died, right? Basically, the plot of this movie is this, because they escaped the mental asylum. These killers, right? And there proceeds to be a cross-state manhunt, right? Taking place to stop these motherfuckers from making it to Mexico. Mainly because the sheriff is very angry because they killed his daughter. He's pissed the fuck off, and he wants them to pay the price in blood for what they did to his family member. And if that doesn't sound familiar to you, let me tell you what. That's pretty much almost exactly the plot, minus a little, like, things here and there of The Devil's Rejects, even though they did it way better. Like, it literally has the same story, basically, but the mental hospital thing added to it. Like, oh, a revenge-fueled sheriff is trying to kill these people because they killed someone he loves. Just like Sheriff Wydell, but whatever. Anyway, so, they're being chased, and young Leatherface, and young not Leatherface that should be Leatherface, go fuck yourself because he's not Leatherface, you motherfuckers should have made him Leatherface guy, right? Along with two really shitty, asshole-ish, unlikable, dickheaded motherfucking asswipe couple. A shitty fucking dude and an equally shitty fucking lady. I mean, I guess the moon and the stars aligned perfectly in the cosmos for these two people who were almost equally shitty in every way imaginable would come across each other and then become a fucking, couple or whatever the fuck. But whatever. They're with them, and they take a nurse, and they hold her as collateral, right? And they're trying to get to Mexico. Now, throughout all of this, Leatherface, even though he's not Leatherface, right? I'm talking about who really is Leatherface here, not the dude that should have been. He doesn't kill anyone. Not once in this entire movie until the end does this motherfucker kill anyone at all, right? So anyway, this is going on, and eventually, they somehow stumble across the one and only fucking camper trailer thing within like a 5,000 mile radius. You know what I mean? It's like, wow, just our luck. We totally stumbled across a living fucking situation out in the middle of fucking nowhere. I'm really glad we took that turn, because I'm pretty sure if we would have came into these trails anywhere else, we would probably never even find this fucking goddamn one trailer that's miraculously right there where we want it to be. So anyway, they find this trailer by some act of God, I guess. And they go inside, and then there's a random fucking dead body. Just there. He's dead as fuck. He's like starting to decay. It's all slimy and green looking. Not a very good depiction of a dead body, but yeah, he's slimy and gross as fuck. And he's in there. And when that happens, it's like, what the fuck does this have to do with anything? Why is there a corpse in this fucking camper thing here? Which brings me to this. I'm convinced that this scene is strictly in this movie to make you uncomfortably grossed out. For real. Because, as I said, it's like, why is there a corpse in here? And here's why, I guess. Because the shitty fucking asshole dude and the shitty fucking asshole lady decide to have a threesome with this fucking corpse. Right? Like, she's sitting on this dude's wiener, not the corpse. She's like riding the dude that's shitty, that they're in love or whatever the fuck you want to call it. And all the while she's over here like making out with this fucking dead body. It's like all this stringy, slimy looking shit is all over the goddamn place. And she's just making out with this fucking corpse. And the scene serves absolutely no real reason or any sort of thing like that whatsoever. Like, this scene does not progress the plot. It doesn't, help with character development. It doesn't it's literally just in this movie to gross you the fuck out. It has absolutely no other purpose of existing for real, right? So that happens. And then eventually, the dickhead dude, because I guess for whatever reason, they're like, hey, let's take this dude right here, who is not Leatherface, but should be Leatherface, the really mentally handicapped guy. Why don't we have him keep watch? Yeah, it's his turn to keep watch. Hopefully he can comprehend enough to warn us if someone's coming, because that would defeat the entire purpose of being here and letting him fucking be the goddamn watch. But whatever. Anyway, so then the shitty dude comes up, and he starts being a dickhead to the young, not Leatherface that should be Leatherface. And the young, not Leatherface that should be Leatherface kills the fucking dude, right? So anyway, they go back to the trailer after all this, and the shitty lady starts freaking out because they won't tell her where her goddamn shitty boyfriend is. And she's all pissed, and she's like, I'm not going anywhere. You know what I mean? So they just leave her at the trailer, and they proceed to try to escape without her. Then, vengeful sheriff shows up, and he murders this lady. Kind of like what Sheriff Wydell might do. Shoots her right in the face. Which, by the way, guess what? That shot in the movie is almost a dead ringer for in House of a Thousand Corpses, when they shoot the fucking big teeth cop outside. It's remarkably similar to that scene. I'm just saying. But, kills the lady. All the other cops are like, what the hell? And he tries to, explain it like, hey, fuck you, basically. So anyway, the cops, they're there. They're on the trail, right? Then we cut to a first-person point of view. It's like this thing that's like spread open. That kind of looks like maybe what a vagina would look like to a baby if he was coming out eyes first type shit. Right? And then we see a group of cops walking on by, not acknowledging the shit. They're just going on by, right? Then this happens. Turns out these people, Leatherface, not Leatherface, that should be Leatherface, and Nurse Lady, right? They come crawling out, because this is what you want to know where they were at, this whole thing's peeking out. Turns out they were taking refuge inside of a dead cow. Yeah, that's what that was. We were seeing a first-person view from inside of this dead cow. Now, really think about what I just said there. You're hiding from the cops inside of a dead cow. Think about this. We're talking 3 entirely mature, completely developed, average fucking everyday fucking normal sized fucking people, 2 of them, and 1 fucking 6'4", 375, gigantic, gargantuous fucking person. Yet somehow they all 3 fit inside of a dead cow. Think about that. 3 entire grown human beings, one of which is gigantic, were all 3 hiding in a dead cow. Is this cow like a circus fucking car or some shit? Is there an underground bunker within the cow? How the fuck did all 3 of these people fit in a dead cow? It's fucking dumb, right? I'll never figure it out. So anyway, as they're going, right, they're in a field, there's a bridge overhead, and they see a cop driving down this bridge, and the nurse lady, she takes this opportunity to hightail it and start screaming for help from this cop, right? So anyway, she's running up there, they end up on the bridge, the cop is stopped, right, and he's got his gun drawn and all that stuff, and he's like, freeze, all that stuff, and then here's the fucked up part, okay, because this is when it really hit me, okay, because while I kind of knew the dude that wasn't Leatherface should be Leatherface, right? Once I realized he wasn't, the real Leatherface, and this other dude was, I spent a good chunk of this movie trying to figure out what type of scenario was going to happen for which this fucking dude that should be Leatherface will take the, the moniker as his own, rather than this dude. What's going to transpire? What twist are they going to put in this movie, right? To where it's going to be we got you. Obviously, this dude's Leatherface, duh, And this scene is when it all came together, right? Because the not Leatherface charges at the cop, and he's on top of the cop, beating the shit out of him and choking him and stuff. And then the cop blows his fucking brains out. Yeah, I'm watching this, and then that happens, and it's oh, so that dude really wasn't Leatherface. What the fuck? You know what I mean? So anyway, then the young Leatherface that shouldn't be young Leatherface kills the cop, and they steal the car, and he lets the girl drive. I know you just tried to fucking, get me in trouble and have the cops arrest me and shit, but I totally trust you and don't think that you're going to drive me somewhere for which I don't want to go. You take the wheel. I trust you. Somehow, right? And he's screaming why did you do that? Why did you do that? It's I don't know, man. Because you guys are escaped mental patients? And she was terrified? That might have something to do with it. Anyway, this happens here, right? I've established how he got his chainsaw. His birthday, right? But if he's just a normal-looking dude, why does he wear the face masks? Apparently later in the future. Here's the thing. In 1974 Leatherface, like I said, is super mentally challenged, and he doesn't really know how to express certain emotions with his face. So he wears masks that represent whatever mood that he's in at that time, because he can't do it himself, and that's what the masks are for, right? At least that's what everyone thought until this goddamn movie came out, because guess what? According to this movie, he wears a mask because he got shot in the face, which is far less intriguing, interesting, or any other thing like that whatsoever than the the whole psychological thing. It's like, oh, I'm gonna wear a mask because I got shot in the face. It's like cliche and anticlimactic as fuck, right? So now we know where he got his chainsaw. Now we know where he got his why he's wearing a mask. But how did he become mentally challenged? Right? Well, apparently, he fucking smashed his head because there is, in fact, a car accident. They crashed this cop car, and I guess he hit his head hard enough to completely change how his mind works. Like, to the point where he is literally the complete opposite of what he was the entire time. Like, does that even really happen? Like, can you really get a head injury and then within the matter of an hour or two, just all of a sudden be mentally challenged big time? Because I kind of feel like that's stupid as fuck. And it is, okay? That's how I got mentally challenged, right? But guess what, okay? So, we cut to the barn, and the pissed off sheriff dude has the young Leatherface that's not Leatherface but should be Leatherface hanging up on the wall like with some like chains and shit, and the nurse. She's there too. And I guess he's gonna kill her as well, even though, like, why? She's not really, didn't really do anything at all. She was just there because she was kidnapped. Why are you gonna kill her? But whatever, anyway. So, and also, by the way, let's throw this out there one last time. He's got them captive and he's going to kill them. And you know what? That sounds like something Sheriff Wydell might do. Because he did fucking do that. Anyway, he's got him chained up and he's going to kill him. Right? And then young Leatherface's mom bursts in there and hits him in the head with a 2x4 or some stupid shit. And the next thing you know, right? Like, we cut to the scene and now it's the cop and the lady hanging up, And then the mom tells Leatherface to kill the cop. And he does, right? Without hesitation. He kills the fuck out of him, right? Then she tells him to kill the girl. Guess what? He hesitates yet again, which I don't know if I've established this good enough, but that's not something Leatherface would do ever. He wouldn't hesitate for a second. Like the chick's like, it's me. You remember me? And he hesitates. Like, it's like, dude, it would not happen. He would have just been like, cool, mom, whatever, dead. But he does end up killing her. And that was Leatherface. And that was some fucking horse shit. Have a good one.